So believe it or not, one of my very favorite things to watch on YouTube are monthly favorites videos. For some reason though, I just cannot get inspired to create one. I don't know if it's that I feel like I'm leaving some things out, or that I'm a bit overwhelmed about what my favorites are, or maybe I just sort of get into a rut in using the same things. But what I thought I would do instead of a monthly favorites is occasionally create a video for you guys that is 5 featured favorites. These are things that I have been using for a while that maybe weren't featured in another type of video, a haul or anything like that. And maybe I did mention them in a haul, but you haven't seen them since. And they're things that I just have been turning to a lot and that I feel like are worth mentioning again. So what I'm going to do is talk about each one of the products that I'm showing you here and then demonstrate them in a look for you. I'll of course be wearing other products besides the 5 that I'm showing here, and I'll list those down below in the description box, but mostly focusing on just these 5 products. So I'm hoping that you'll find this interesting and maybe find a few products that you didn't know were so amazing. The first featured product of this video is the ColourPop eyeshadow in Bill. Kind of a strange name, I think. But I decided to get this because I really like their matte shadows. I know that they're pretty well known for their sparkly shadows, and while those are really gorgeous, I think that the matte shadows are really what stand out for me. Of course, I'm sure that you've probably seen about the texture of the shadows, how it's almost a mousse formula, but it's interesting to work with. I think with the shimmer shadows you get the best color payoff by using your finger to apply them, but actually with these I think they work really well with the brush. You can see in the close-up here that the color, it does have a tiny bit of shimmer in it. That does not show up when it's actually blended out onto your eye, so I don't know if that's maybe just transfer from my brush or another color that I had used, but it does not show up at all as a shimmery color. It's a really pretty dusty sort of plummy color, and I think it's just really nice in the crease as a transition color, but also today I'm going to show you how to use it just as a look on its own, just paired with something on the lid. You can see here in the demo where I'm actually putting it on with my Sigma E25 brush, and if you don't have that brush, that's okay. It's just any type of blending brush will work just fine with it. This is a synthetic fiber brush, and I just sort of tap it into the product and then begin to blend and deposit it onto my lid. I feel like with this color in particular, because it's a lighter matte color, I have to sort of build it up, but I don't mind that because I have a lot of control with it, and I can sort of create a gradient from a lighter version of the color on the inner corner all the way to a darker version of the color on my outer corner. It's never going to get really, really deep because that's just not the nature of this color, but it does create a really nice soft shadowed appearance in the crease, and I think it's really lovely for that purpose. Featured product number 2 is Down Boy Blush by theBalm, and if you aren't familiar with theBalm's line, it's something that you can find on their website, but it's also sold now at Kohl's, and I actually purchased this from HauteLook. This blush normally is $21, which in my opinion is quite a bit for a blush, but I found it for half price on HauteLook. They're on there quite often, so I definitely keep an eye out for that. It's a sort of a flash sale website, so you have to sign up. I think it's a great website for finding brands like this. So it's just in a plastic packaging, and it's this really beautiful sort of cool toned pink, which is very different for me. I tend to gravitate towards warmer colors for some reason, but for this one it's just a cooler toned plummy pink color, and it looks beautiful with this eyeshadow as well as the lipstick that I'm going to apply it with. Just to give you a reference point for how cool the Down Boy blush is, this is Frat Boy, which I think is probably a more popular blush from the same brand, but you can see how much warmer the Frat Boy is from Down Boy. So this one plays nicely with the colors that I'm going to be wearing today. The texture is really nice. The staying power is what really has sold me on this product. I can put it on early in the morning, and I'm usually in class until about 8 o'clock at night, and it is still there and still in place and still looking fresh by the end of the day. It's a very matte blush, so you can of course jazz it up with a little bit of highlighter if you want, or just leave it the way that it is. But you'll see here in the demo where I'm applying it with my Real Techniques blush brush. I find this brush works great. It applies very nicely on the cheeks. I just have a powder foundation on today, so even with a liquid foundation I don't find that it clings or anything like that, and it's not a super duper overly pigmented blush, which I like because, again, like the eyeshadow, I can sort of build up the color. I like to apply that on the back portion of my cheek going up towards my apple, but not quite right on the apple of my cheek, especially because it's such a cooler pink color. I don't want to look like a baby doll, you know, so I just like to apply it on the back side of my cheek. But it's a really beautiful blush, and I've already applied a highlighter here, so that's where you're seeing a little bit of the shimmer. Featured product number 3 is this lip liner from Bella Pierre. The color is called Natural, and it's number 3 in the waterproof lip liner line. It doesn't say that on the actual packaging here, but on their website it's listed as such. These are $17.99, which is sort of pricey for a lip liner in my opinion, but I got this in one of my BoxyCharm boxes, and this is really where I've seen these products most, is featured in certain subscription boxes. So I've never really heard anyone talk about just purchasing this from the website, but definitely seen it mentioned quite often. Some of the products I've received from this line aren't as wonderful as this, but I really love this lip liner. It's just the most beautiful sort of neutrally warm brownish color, and it actually pairs nicely with either warm or cool lipsticks and just sort of neutralizes them a bit. And it's just that color that I've always loved ever since I started wearing makeup in probably the early 90s. I just think that this color is really flattering on my skin tone, and I tend to gravitate towards this. This is my favorite lip liner that I have that's in this color range though. I feel like it's really creamy, it applies really evenly, and it's a huge lip liner. I mean, I've been using it for a while and it doesn't dull down too quickly. It does sharpen up really nicely, and it's definitely a product that I would recommend. You can see where I'm applying it here. I do have a little bit of lip balm on, and I feel like that can sometimes affect the opacity of the lip liner, and I don't mind that because I don't want it to go on too heavy because I will be applying a lipstick over it. So I'm just lining my bottom lip, and I sort of blot my lips together to transfer a bit of the color to the top, and then I'm going to go in and line out my Cupid's bow. And I'm not going to worry too much about blending out the line because the color that I'm going to put over this is really close to the lip liner color, so you won't really see that sort of weird awkward line around the lips. But it's just a wonderful product. The color is just spot on and I use it all the time. The next featured product is the NYX Butter Lipstick in Pops. Now these lipsticks came out quite a while ago, I would say probably over a year ago, so I haven't really heard much else about them lately. You know how this goes in makeup. In one day and out the next, and you don't really hear much about it anymore, but I absolutely love this formula. It's a nice cream formula, so it's not going to look matte on the lips, but it's also not really shiny, so it does last for quite a while. This is one color that I really like because it's just that nice rosy neutral, and it pairs very nicely with the lip liner that I showed you a minute ago. The texture's really nice. It does not feel drying at all on the lips, and with the new kind of matte lip trend out lately, my lips sometimes need a rest from that because definitely I can feel the effects of wearing too many matte lipsticks too many days in a row. This one definitely provides a little bit of respite for my dried lips, and I feel like it lasts a long time. It's just an easy color to apply. With this lip liner, it makes the color look a little bit more peachy, but definitely you could put it with a pink lip liner and it would change the tone of the lipstick for sure. You can see that I'm applying it here and it just blends seamlessly into that lip liner. It's just a perfect match for this particular color, and I think it complements the eyeshadow and blush really nicely. So it's definitely one of my favorite colors, and at only $5.99 a tube, you just can't beat that bargain. And my final featured product for this video is the Berry M Jelly Shine nail polish in the color Blueberry. You may have noticed it on my nails throughout the video. I picked this up over the summer at Boots when I was in Belfast, and I got quite a few other colors that I mentioned in my UK haul tutorial that I did a while back. And this is one of my favorite colors from the bunch that I picked up. It's just this really beautiful sort of electric pastel-y blue, and it just really jumps off your nails, if that makes sense. It's really vibrant and you just notice it right away. I do feel like it's a nice color, transitional color though. I don't think it's something that you couldn't wear throughout fall because it does have that little bit of a muted tone to it. It looks really bright on camera here, but in person it's a little bit more muted, and I just find myself wearing it quite a lot. I think it just really pops off of my skin color. It has a nice texture that is opaque in just 2 coats, and I always pair it with the base and a top coat, so it really lasts pretty well on my nails. You can see I've got a little bit of chipping there on the tip of my fingernails, but I was breaking into some boxes earlier, so that probably has a little bit to do with it. I love the shine. I just am over the moon about this particular line of nail polishes, and I could not recommend them enough. I didn't want to demo this because I'm definitely not a nail artist and I don't have the best nails for that type of thing. I just think it's such a fun pop of color. I wear a lot of neutrals in my clothing, so I really like to add a little bit of jazz with my fingernails so that I have sort of a pop of color in my wardrobe, so to speak. Click the box right there to watch my last video, which was an awesome BH Cosmetics haul. Also, you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter to talk about all things glamour. Please subscribe if you're new, and this ensures that you will see my videos pop up in your feed and you won't have to come looking for me. Thanks for watching, and talk to you guys later. Bye.